I got my laptop out, so hopefully this battery will not drain or die.
Minos have it.
So far.
Alrighty. The one thing I hate about my iPad is it's like
There you are.
all of the like the apps on the tablet are like everywhere and not like in the same order as they would be on my phone. So I'm like, okay, where's Facebook on the tablet? Where's Twitter on the tablet? Like,
why don't you set it up the same way?
I've tried to, but it's just like it they're all just every which way, and it's weird. They've just
nice Four Horsemen shirt, by the way.
Thanks. I've wore this while meeting Arn Anderson, and he liked it. And he did not pull his Glock out on me. Here's the thing about meeting Arn Anderson. First of all, I want to pray. Arn Anderson is cool as fuck. He is a nice guy, but Arn has an intensity about him that if you don't know it, you're kind of like, whoa, like what I do wrong, Arn? What I do wrong? And again, he's not like trying to be, but he's just got this intensity. I remember when I met him for the first time at StarCast. I'm like, hello, I'm big fan. He's like, how are you, sir? I'm like, I'm good, thanks. It's really
Wait,
nice.
what?
It's really nice to meet you. Thank you, sir. Nice to meet you too. And I'm like,
oh, so he's got like the loud booming voice. You're like,
he's just like he's very intense kind of guy. He's cool, but he's just kind of he's the enforcer all the time. And and then the second time I met him, I was wearing this shirt, and I went there, and I'm. He's meeting my stuff, and he's a little bit calmer, and I'm like, okay, like, hey, I really enjoy your podcast, because when the Arn podcast first came out, and he's like, you got any suggestions to make it better? I'm like, no, it's a great podcast, Arn, please don't hurt me.
Oh my god. Guys,
got spine buster thing.
Let's see. Hang on. I was gonna say, oh yeah. The AEW Baltimore show is completely sold out.
Cool, good for them.
It's like $250.
Hey, Miss Ace is in the house. My last time meeting Arn Anderson was like 3 weeks later at a convention, and I wasn't gonna meet him, but he had the TV title with him. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go meet him this time. I have this shirt on again, just because I love this shirt, and he's talking like, God, have you seen it? Like, he's like, you've seen the other shirts that they put out? I say one thing on the podcast, and they put it out there. I said, there's one that's really humorous, but I don't think I could buy it. And he goes like, you talking about the Pecker Checker shirt? And I'm like, yes, Arn, that's exactly the shirt. Like, that time I knew he was getting ready. I'm like, yes, Arn, yep, that's the exact shirt I'm talking about. It's like, yeah, I don't understand that one either, but Conrad put it on there. And I'm like, okay. So there's my interactions with the enforcer, and then this one actually was an interaction. I printed out that picture we took with the TV title, sent it in to Assign It Live, and he told me at a glance I look like Daniel Bryan. So
I'm not sure if that's a compliment or
I'm taking it as one. He
takes it as the ultimate compliment, because I swear to you, I've heard that story 10 times.
Mm-hmm. I'm told I either look like Daniel Bryan or Sami Zayn. So take your pick. And hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of the Just Us Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I am the Athletic Geek, joined on the other end of the tin cannon string by CJ Team All Zero.
Yep.
And Easy.
Happy Mario Day.
Yes. Happy Mario Day indeed.
I got Mario socks on, so I'm happy.
I had so many pairs of Mario socks. If I would have had the foresight to wait until this day, I could have been a wacky. Well, no, today's Thursday, so never mind. I could have Wacky Socks Wednesday them the day before, and it would have been cool. But
Welcome to Story Time with the Geek.
Yes, this is just. We shouldn't be telling stories because we have a lot to talk about. Caleb says Sammy.
And you are likely going to all be pissed at me.
Oh, I already know why they're going to be pissed at you. But if you've never seen this show before, this is the Just Us Marks Wrestling Recap Show. I met Easy at All In and Starcast. I met CJ
All in.
locally. We love wrestling, love talking wrestling, love sharing our love of pro wrestling with each and every one of you out there. However, just like each and every one of you out there, we're just fans. Our opinions are that of any other fan. We avoid insider terms. At the end of the day, we're not insiders. We are not wrestlers. We's just a bunch of them dag-o marks. And there was a pay-per-view on Sunday, and there were some prizes to be given away. There was some shit going down. There was some moments to be witnessed. There was some nostalgia to be had, some nostalgia to be bitched about. But more importantly than that, there were some prizes. And there was a giveaway contest. And one man was the Undisputed King, and he's in the chat right now. Caleb. Caleb won first prize with 15 points. And Michael and Marcel, I believe they tied with 13 or 12. It was they both tied for second place. So we're going to have a drawing for second place. There's Marcel's name. There's Michael's name. And the second prize winner is Michael. That's 2 in a row for Michael. So Marcel, you get third place. You are not leaving empty-handed. So Marcel will get one comic book. And his comic book is...
By the way, side note, if anybody puts in the Batman spoilers in the chat, you will be blocked.
Speaking of Batman, Batman Urban Legends #1. That is your comic book.
What a segue.
And Michael's comic book is... Superman #27. And
I was literally just about to joke Superman.
His action figure will be... Ray's in the house is to you. And speaking of Daniel Bryan, a Daniel Bryan action figure. Now, time for the big guns. Caleb.
Does that include membership to the Bryan Danielson's Bryans?
It might. It might. Caleb's comic
Only
book.
with the name change.
Yes, you have to change your name. Caleb's comic book is Superman versus Imperious Lex. And his action figure is... Just because I know how Caleb knows exactly in this sort of... It's a long story, and it's no more story time with Geek, but he gets a Kevin Nash action figure.
Oh, boy. That's the backstory.
Caleb was there that night. Caleb was there.
I think you've heard the story, Easy.
Oh, wait. Okay.
Yeah, it's a different story.
Gets a t-shirt, and the t-shirt is The Chairman Cometh. So you get Sean Spears t-shirt to go with that.
Ooh.
And the DVD.
Gotta love that Punisher rendition of the Canadian flag. Love it.
It is a Being the Elite exclusive interview and bonus matches DVD. So we got
that's dope.
and the matches it has is some guy versus Cedric Alexander. Oh wow, this is like okay, I'm just going to warn everybody now. 2 of these matches have not aged well, knowing what we know now about people, but it is Marty Scurll versus Cedric Alexander, the Young Bucks versus Rey Mysterio and Alberto El Patron, but Cody versus Matt Cross, so that one saves it. So, all right. And then finally, because he did score higher than me, he gets a bonus prize. And
the Britt Baker picture in the top left.
No. but rather the an autographed picture of Man Scout Jake Manning and Tent. So, congratulations there.
The
So,
face just went oof.
oof. Okay. But, yep. All right, Caleb. So, yes, this is the grand prize. That's 2 in a row. I think Caleb's got some insider information. But congratulations to all of our winners. And yeah, let's talk about this pay-per-view because it was quite the show, to say the least.
Did you say it was revolutionary?
I would say it's very good, bordering on great. And yeah, let's talk about this. So once the card loads, first match was Layla Hirsch versus Chris Statlander. I enjoyed this match. I feel like told a good story. It was a good pre-show match. Layla looked good. Statlander looked good. I mean, I say this in due respect. Like it was just a good match. Like there's not really anything life-changing about it or anything where like, oh my god. But it was a good match. It was the type of match that, elevated both participants and like, pretty cut and dry. What about, for the people that have seen the show in this chat, what say you?
I'm keeping quiet.
You picked the.
Yeah.
That was the wrong fucking day for basketball to happen. I will say that much.
Yeah, that was a bad basketball day.
Basketballs are holding grudges
It's
for
from
this
my
one.
hometown. Okay?
I understand. But basketballs are holding grudges. What is it about the NBA still fucking with AEW
I
fans?
didn't give two shits whether it was the NBA or not. It's like if I see Toronto in town against Cleveland, I'm gonna go see Toronto in town against Cleveland.
Yeah.
At least I was happy that the hockey game earlier, Toronto won. It's just the basketball game could have been a better result, but it's whatever. But having said that, I did keep track on the results on Twitter.
That doesn't do it as good a justice, but that's still decent. Yeah, at least
So
you
you
know what
haven't
happened.
actually like seen the show yet?
I haven't like seen the show, but I've seen highlights.
Okay.
I saw the highlights between CM Punk and MJF, which we'll get to later.
Yeah. Well, the next match was, unless there's anything more to say about Hirsch and Statlander.
I mean, I kind of thought that this match was a little clunky. I think it was a height problem.
Yeah.
But both of them have had much better matches with other opponents, so I don't think it was a matter that they're not talented. I just think that this matchup didn't really work like we thought it might. It wasn't a bad match, but there were some spots.
Yeah.
Not high spots. There were some low spots.
Mm-hmm. Next match was Hook versus QT Marshall. Again, this is just kind of a feature for Hook. They sent Hook. This Hooker was proud. And yeah. Again, like, the thing about these pre-show matches is, like, the matches weren't bad per se, but they weren't like, oh my god, I cannot believe this, Like, and there's nothing wrong with that, but it's just kind of, I know sometimes this fan base has the tendency to overrate what this company puts out and overrate things that are just simply pre-show matches. Good pre-show matches or fun dark matches, our fan base has the tendency to think like, oh, this happened here and it's as good as, Perfect and Brett, from SummerSlam, and it's like, no, it's not really. It was just a good little match, But the whole pre-show did its job, Same thing with this the 6-man tag with House of Black versus Death Triangle. Like, everything did their job. They advanced stories. The right people won everything. Everybody looked decent. Nobody got buried. Nobody got ruined. Everybody hit their spots. They were just matches. And sometimes that is just a fact of wrestling. You know?
And I think we'll just kind of lump in the other two together. I'm not sure why we had to put the Hook and what's his face? My brain's done today. QT Marshall. I'm not sure why they had to put that on the pre-show. I'm not sure why this was a necessity.
To get Hook, the live crowd with Hook.
Okay, but you had too many matches on the card. So personally, this would have been the match that I cut. This is not the only match that I'll cut, and we'll get into that later.
DJ on this, it's like we all know QT's gonna get crushed.
I think it was I agree with what you're saying, but I also think that they just really wanted to put Hook. They really wanted the pay-per-view crowd to get Hook. Like I get,
yeah.
It's a lot like some of this WWE logic. And, you know, like, where I get the logic, I get why they did it. It's not a hill worth dying on to complain about this. But
I mean, I'm all for making the new star. I'm perfectly fine with getting Hook over. You didn't have to do this on the pre-show. You didn't have to do this on the pay-per-view at all. I personally, something has to be cut. Several things have to be cut, and so this is where I would have made my cut. It was a perfectly fine match. Perfectly fine match. I would not have had it here. And honestly, I probably would have spent my time, instead of building up the QT and Hook match for the couple of weeks, I would have done more work to build up the House of Black versus Death Triangle match.
Yeah.
Because it's just like on Friday, they're like, oh yeah, well, we're going to have a match.
Yeah.
In 2 days. Like, why? I'm fine with that match staying on the card. I would have actually put it on the main pay-per-view card to kind of give everybody a rest a little bit, even though it was that was a good match. Still, like, it didn't really feel it was a better match because of the match. It would have been even better had it had more of a build to it.
Yeah.
I know that they've been kind of in a feud, and this was an elevation of the feud, but it kind of seemed like we were done with it for a while, and then we came back to it to just do this, and now I'm not sure what they're doing with it. It's very confusing what they're doing with House of Black, to me.
Yeah. But the right team won, I will say that much.
Yeah.
Speaking of right people winning, we now get to the main card. Chris Jericho versus Eddie Kingston. Fucking Eddie Kingston, man. Fuck yeah. Love this match. Maybe still my match of the night. I'm not sure. I mean, there was some good ones. There was a lot of good matches here, including some that, you know, from people I don't particularly always care for, but I don't know. This was kind of my style of match, and it delivered. So
I loved it.
Yeah.
Loved it. Love Eddie.
I can only imagine that I loved this as well. Hey, at least Eddie Kingston winning something, I'm happy.
Always with Eddie Kingston winning something is. But the big story, and we'll get more to that on Dynamite, was Chris Jericho was not a man of his word and did not shake Eddie Kingston's hand.
That's not being a very nice Canadian.
No.
It was born in New York.
I don't know about that. I mean, I do know about that, but
he's breaking stereotypes. Everybody stereotypes all the Canadians as being friendly, but nope, he's breaking the stereotype.
I mean, we did have another Canadian come out and be a jerk on the pre-show.
Yeah. That deserves a mention. We thought we were going to get one Canadian, and then we got another Canadian.
I heard Kenny Omega was coming back. He's like, holy shit, really? And that's like Don Callis like, oh, come on.
I loved it. I thought it was great.
Yeah, it was fantastic, but he was a real douche canoe.
Who's a bigger douchebag, Don Callis or Dan Lambert?
It's kind of like saying...
Or would this just take us 2 hours to discuss?
I mean, it's kind of like saying, what's worse for you? You know, a Big Mac or a donut? You know?
True.
It's all bad, but it's like, you know, okay, just kind of present it differently of how you're doing your bad, like what's worse, crack or cocaine? You know, it's both
I think the
awful
same
for
thing.
you, or crack or coke and meth, and it's all gonna kill you. But it's like, how is this presented? You can smoke crack and snort cocaine,
I literally thought for the longest time they were the same thing. I don't know. I'm straight edge, okay?
It is kind of the same thing. It's just the method of how you ingest it.
There you go.
Like, do. I don't know anything about
Caleb
drugs.
says both of them are great. I think Dan is better at getting heat, though.
He was still talking about the crack and the coke for a second.
Yeah, Caleb, I'm glad you're talking about I'm glad you're talking about Don and Dan.
Great transition.
Don and Dan and not the drugs, man. I'm glad.
I know Tony Khan is not going to buy the NBA.
Yeah, we know.
I would see him maybe buy the Orlando.
He's gonna sell this comic book to get his fix now. We kid, man. We kid.
It's fine. He's a fine, upstanding young gentleman. He doesn't do drugs. I'm not insinuating that anyone on the channel does drugs.
Yeah. Maybe some alcohol or some cigarettes or some chewing tobacco, but that's it.
Oh yeah, I heard. For those who weren't here a few weeks ago, I had my first non-alcoholic beer. It was awesome. Hey, Brewdog is awesome, okay?
Okay. Oh, no, I'm not knocking him, but just eventually you're going to watch.
Missing the point.
Whatever.
Beer is awesome. Much like this match. Next match, AEW Tag Team Championship, which I just want to point out, seems like, have you noticed that it's always like hot singles match, tag team championship match seems to be like their pecking order now. You know what I mean? Like because at like Full Gear, you had that you had a singles match start, and then the second match, or you had Darby and MJF, big time singles match, and then right into that's the tag team match. This one was better than the one at Full Gear. It was a 3-way match between Jurassic Express, Red Dragon, and the Young Bucks. I thought it was a good match, not great, kind of ran into that too much stuff going on thing, but I also don't think it was as bad as some old timers want to say it was. I don't know. What say you?
I didn't think it was bad at all. I liked it. It did what it was supposed to do.
Right.
It got those two. It got Red Dragon and the Young Bucks into their own little feud, and they're going to focus on that and not on the titles. And titles stayed on where they should have stayed. So I didn't see a problem with it personally.
Yep. Next match was the Face of the Revolution ladder match for a shot at the TNT title. Keith Lee versus Orange Cassidy versus Powerhouse Hobbs versus Ricky Starks versus Wardlow versus Christian Cage. I like this match. I really liked the Hosses going at it. All the beef. Really like Orange Cassidy's ladder spot. That was pretty great too. And I like the fact that Wardlow won. And yeah.
I also like that Danhausen cursed Ricky Starks.
I don't like that.
That was great.
I don't like that.
And you know what? I've actually noticed this trend a little bit. Every person that Danhausen has cursed, they've actually been losing quite a lot of matches lately.
Oh.
Do you notice that?
Wonderful. Love that for me.
Danhausen for the FTW A&W Championship confirmed.
FTW Hausen belt, yes.
Yes. FT Hausen. I'm going to do that.
Fake news.
All right, but yeah, still good, great match.
Danhausen will send you bags of money from the A&W.
Yes. Human monies.
Yes, human monies.
This is what I want to know.
And he still needs a blimp.
What happens when Danhausen gets his blimp? Does he just quit?
He rides off into the sunset.
You know what? No, he'll get his blimp if he goes back to Ring of Honor. And since Tony Khan does own Ring of Honor now, he can get Danhausen a blimp.
I'm not sure about that, but we'll see. I'm not sure how I feel about Danhausen going back to Ring of Honor, but we will see.
Well, like one-off appearances or whatever.
It's a whole other debate that we talked about last week. These are two different companies with a big fucking like I'm not trying to put anybody over, but like the Trump wall is in between them. The wrestling version of the Trump wall in between ROH and AEW for a while.
By the way, Ringside Collectibles, if you're listening, we would love to get a remote control Danhausen blimp.
I would buy that, yes.
Yes, me too.
But I don't know. What do you think about the match?
Everybody.
Other than Danhausen cursing Ricky Starks and you not liking that.
That was my highlight of the night.
It's not mine.
Well, that's too bad for you.
I legitimately had like a little panic attack when Ricky Starks got power bombed on the ladder and it looked like he landed on his neck. I actually went back and like watched some slow-mo that people posted where he does get his hands around the back of his head and his neck, so that made me feel just minutely better. But
the Danhausen curse may have had the wrong effect on Ricky Starks.
I didn't like that. I didn't like that. And I said a lot of profanities at Wardlow for that. He got some heat with me. There's still some heat between me and Wardlow for that spot alone. Not super happy about that. It's the ending's fine. Whatever. Like,
I'm playing a very wonderful piece on the world's smallest violin for you.
I know.
You know what's
Tequila!
Weird? You know what's weird? Danhausen came out to that song, but I also saw Gloria Pro Wrestling Bandito come out to that song, and that was just odd for me.
I actually finally saw a video where like the tequila music was playing, and apparently like the wrestlers just get hypnotized playing while Danhausen's just beating the crap out of them. That was
next match. We gotta move on. Next match: Jade Cargill versus Tyconte. I enjoyed this match more than I thought I would. It ended up being the best women's match on the card. More on that later. Good match. Jade looked good. Jade's getting better. Ty looked good. Again, like
I was confused that like she puckered up right on the lips of Tyconte. It's like, hey, listen, like everybody knows I'm an ally, but I was like, okay, what just happened?
I'm sure it has something to do with the shit talkery that had been happening on Twitter, like for weeks.
Fair point. And I did see some pretty cute fan art of those two. It's like, okay, but apparently both Jade and Ty retweeted those fan arts on their accounts.
Yeah,
so
like, they're both fine.
Getting back to the match. It was just one of those. It's like kind of like the other ones. Like it was a good match. It served its purpose. You know, it's nothing bad to say about it, but maybe nothing quite life changing. Like
no, it's not going to be something that we're talking about in December. But it was a perfectly fine and suitable match, even for a pay-per-view.
Nothing that we're going to be saying anything bad about now, or like, man, why'd they have to do this?
So who's going to fight Jade at Double or Nothing? Or will she be defeated by this point?
I don't think she'll be defeated. I think you got to have her lose that on a...
maybe All Out?
A Double or Nothing would be fine. I'm just saying don't lose the belt before then. You got to make her...
Okay.
Her losing a match and probably losing the title, because that'd be stupid to have her lose her first match in a tag team match or a nothing non-title match. That would be a big enough deal that it should be done on a pay-per-view.
I wouldn't put it on a pay-per-view.
Really?
Yeah. It's a secondary title named after the television channel that you're on. It's essentially a TV title.
Okay.
And you're wanting more ratings. You're wanting more substantial ratings. Her losing the belt would bump your ratings for a while.
I see that point, but I'm also kind of in the camp like kind of similar to Goldberg and Asuka. It's like this got to happen on a big show. Asuka's first loss happened at WWE's biggest show. Goldberg's first loss happened at WCW's biggest show.
Okay, so compromise with me and put it on one of the TNT specials. Ta-da!
I'm saying Double or Nothing is arguably their biggest show. Maybe this is where it happens.
You know what? Yeah.
No.
I see like the devil's advocate on this one. It's like it could be both on either or, but we'll see.
But now it's come to probably the most I've enjoyed CM Punk in quite some time. Dog collar match, CM Punk versus MJF. I marked out pretty hardcore for the AFI theme and the shorts. I marked out because I saw CM Punk wear shorts and have AFI music. Some people were not watching wrestling, or at least were not aware of CM Punk then, and did not understand the significance of that. And quite a few people have chosen it as their hill to die on as why AEW is bad.
I thought that we had all talked about this enough when Punk came into the company. Like, as a collective wrestling unit on the internet, that we had discussed, us olds, us geriatric millennials, had discussed this with all of you guys, and you were aware of this being a thing. Enough of us knew the song to where they were singing in
I was hearing that.
So
when I was watching the entrances on both Twitter and YouTube, like I could hear people singing this song. Even I was like kind of singing this song. It's like, wait, this is interesting.
Mm-hmm. I heard it a lot.
I was even listening to it today. That's a great song.
Yeah, it is a really good song. I listened to it a lot.
The fucking lyrics.
It used to be in my playlist, but I don't know the words. There were people that were big enough fans that knew the fucking
nothing
words.
From nowhere, I'm no one at all, ready to recognize something, something, something. One of them. Is it a way? And it's like, love, your hate, your faith lost. You are now one of us.
That part I got. The one of us especially, I'll never forget. One of us.
I was almost like wondering, it's like, wait a minute, are we getting Kenny Omega? Because it's like dun 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 dun. But like,
no, whenever I when I kind of got put in my head, like when MJF trolled with Cult of Personality, I'm like, wait a minute,
they're gonna do it.
They're not gonna do AFI, are they? They're doing AFI. Like that's already like, all right, this is
okay.
Cool.
I've actually
out in the shorts. I'm like, this is even more cool. Yeah.
I actually have not seen MJF's entrance at Revolution. Like, he actually came on to Cult of Personality.
They played Cult of Personality,
and
like
then
the
went
first
into MJF's
piece.
music, like kind of like what they did it all out with, like him doing the countdown
gotcha.
and then coming out to his music. They played the first part of Cult of Personality, and then it went into his, and he was MJF doing some, slimy MJF trolling.
Yeah. Now this is the part where everybody's going to hate me. Especially if you know how big of a CM Punk fan that I am. The wrong person won. I'm sorry. But MJF honestly should have won. Now, don't get me wrong. Wardlow, like, placing the ring for Punk, like, that was amazing. But that still could have happened if MJF won. If he was, like, waiting for Wardlow and MJF, like, just so happens, like, or Wardlow, he's not coming out still when he's like screaming for him. Then after he wins the match, then you see Wardlow coming out.
Then it doesn't carry that much weight if they do it that way.
Okay, fair enough. But anyways, like if MJF like actually wins and then Wardlow finds the ring, MJF kind of gets pissed at him, and then you see Wardlow just knockout punch MJF, officially turning face in a way. It still could have had the same impact. I mean, this happened when I can't believe I'm making this comparison is with Ted DiBiase, demanding for, I guess, recognition for himself. Then you see Virgil just whack him with the $1 Million Championship. This actually could have been AEW's similar near equivalent to that scenario. But again, it's like if you're building MJF to be the best heel of this company, probably bigger than Britt Baker. Like, I would keep him winning at this. Like, beating Punk, not once, not twice, but you just beat him 3 times now. This could set him up for a title match at Double or Nothing. So, again, it's crazy for me to say this, but this was the one match I actually did not want CM Punk to win.
I don't think MJF had any business winning this match. MJF had to have a comeuppance at some point, and this was the right time to do it, especially when Punk made this gesture. Hangman versus Punk at Double or Nothing will be a big match. That way, you can look at that one of two ways, like big picture here. That was a good short-term thing. Here, big picture. First of all, now Wardlow, it carries more weight that Wardlow cost him a match. He didn't just win and then, oh, you're not being subservient. MJF lost something and lost his pride and lost big time on a big stage in a big match because of Wardlow. So now that program's got more heat on it. Also, big picture,
I don't know.
CM Punk versus Hangman Page at Double or Nothing for the title. Okay? So either Hangman Page wins and adds to his legacy, saying, essentially saying he's beat all of the big debuts from, that kind of came from the summer, all the big WWE crossover guys, Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, and CM Punk. So that makes Hangman look amazing as champion. That means a homegrown star has beaten all of these guys trying to come in. You could probably throw Moxley in there too at some point. And then we carry that into All Out, where then MJF gets the title at All Out. Or Hangman loses to CM Punk. And then you can come back to CM Punk and MJF, both of them tied at one apiece. Back in Chicago, rubber match for the title. Big picture. This worked out better in the big picture.
I mean, I'm all for long-term storytelling myself, but again, it's too cold. Either Bully Ray or Jim Cornette. This is not how I would have booked this match. Okay, I'll actually go with Jim Cornette because at least Bully Ray has no idea what the fuck he's talking about half the time.
And
Cornette's
I think
tolerable.
I think it was right because MJF is made. He is the number one bad guy in that company. He's the top heel, no matter what.
He should have had this win.
No, because he doesn't have to win every match to stay on top. He's made man. He's not losing his position. Even if he gets hurt, God forbid, he's not losing his position. He is safe and he is sound exactly where he is. He's established. It's not ever going to hurt him to lose, especially in this way. And him losing and now having a really big reason to go after Wardlow, even though he's going to be a little slimy and pretend that he's afraid of Wardlow, he's going to be so incensed by it that he has to go for Wardlow. And that's going to make
I already know he's probably going to cost him the TNT Championship, no doubt.
But it would be a better, man, maybe. It would make more sense for MJF to want to go after Wardlow and hate Wardlow because Wardlow took something from him compared to Wardlow just not showing up to best, I know you kind of compared him to Virgil, but, Wardlow's got a lot more on him than Virgil. Wardlow could conceivably be world champion, and Wardlow costing MJF something to carry that into a big program where, yeah, maybe Wardlow doesn't get the big win over MJF yet. That could also go either way, but that story could be revisited. Hell, MJF Wardlow for the title. That could happen.
We could be talking about this next year at this time.
Yeah. There's so much more to be said for Wardlow costing MJF something, costing him something than just kind of packs a lot more of a punch that way for the story. There's a lot more of a reason for MJF to be pissed off. Here's my example. It's not an apples to apples comparison, but I think the same logic applies. There was more of a reason for Thor to want to, redeem himself and want to get back at Thanos and want to help his friends in Endgame because he fucked up at the end of Infinity War. You know what I mean? Like there was that there was there was the motivation for why Thor needed to have this arc that way. If Thor would have just been like, and you're dead, he wouldn't have had a reason to go. Like I said, it's not completely apples to apples, but MJF would want a reason to be angry with Wardlow because he took a win away from him and potentially a number one contendership away.
Mm-hmm.
There's,
and the way that Punk won, it was cheating, but it wasn't necessarily cheating, and he didn't have real outside interference, so he kind of still won honorably, but not really. MJF has a leg to stand on if he comes back and says, it took a ring and somebody else to beat me. He's not technically wrong, but he's also kind of stretching the truth, which gives them the reason for the rubber match. It gives him a very easy in for the rubber match, especially if he were to, say, lose another match to Wardlow, to make Wardlow, and then come after Punk, because I do think that Punk takes the title, and he can automatically take it from Punk within 3 or 4 months, and then he can hold it over Punk's head that he made the best in the world have the shortest title reign in AEW history.
Yeah.
There's a lot more crowns to put in MJF's. There's a lot more jewels to put in his crown this way than it is to win a second time over CM Punk right now.
Yeah. You don't. It also gives, as I said, there's a reason for that rubber match now. Because I think it would be better for Punk. It would, especially, we want to talk about All Out. CM Punk going into All Out with a shot, defending the AEW Championship, being able to 1 year later come into Chicago with the title against MJF. Come on, that's fucking money. That is money. You could sell the United Center out. You'd probably be able to make a strong case for Soldier Field with that.
That's like making your own prints out of metal and just stamping the print on paper and here's $100 bill, here's $100 bill. That's what it is. That's what CM Punk with the title versus MJF in Chicago is.
And MJF
taking the title.
And you could either have CM Punk have the feel good moment.
Nah.
And win, or you could do what I will be rooting for in that crowd, rooting for MJF to get it, and again, you could keep the story going that way. MJF always beats CM Punk in Chicago. You could have a story you could carry that for years of Punk just has to beat MJF in Chicago once. That could be Punk's version of having to beat Austin at WrestleMania, So, next match, which unfortunately wasn't a terrible match, but it just was bad placement on the card. Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. It was a match that set up another match, which is fine, but it was just, it had the unenviable position of following that match.
And being complete shenanigans.
Yeah.
I'm a huge Britt Baker fan. This is another match that I would have cut off the card.
I do appreciate it in the sense that it set up what we're going to talk about on Rampage, or on Dynamite.
I think that you probably could have gotten away with putting the match that we saw on the pay-per-view on Dynamite and still coming to the same conclusion that we're going to come to next week. I don't think that there would have been loss on that, and you would have been able to save a little bit more time off of a overstacked card, in my opinion.
I don't know if they could have got to the cage match. Spoiler alert.
I think they could have. They could have had the title match Wednesday with all the shenanigans and said, okay,
It'd have to
Since
get
you
thrown
can't
out,
see-
though. It wouldn't have. I don't think there could be a loss there that time. It'd have to get thrown out.
What makes it different than getting a loss at the pay-per-view?
Because by doing it this way, Thunder Rosa lost. She got a win back and earned her spot into the cage. If you would have just had her lose, then you kind of have the WWE tactic of you lost, but we're gonna reward losing and have the cage match. With AEW, that's done such a good job at the no automatic rematches,
But they this seemed dumb to me. Like, oh well, you lost, but we're gonna give you a number one contenders match like 2 nights later. It makes more sense to me if they're like, okay, Britt, since you can't keep your posse out and the shenanigans out, we're gonna give her another shot at it because she didn't have a fair shake. She didn't have a posse with her. And this time it's gonna be in a cage.
If you do it that way, then don't have Thunder Rosa lose. Just have Britt Baker have Thunder Rosa win by DQ. Use the DQ card that you rarely play. Play it this time and then set up the cage. Then that way, I think that's a little better than this
too. I like that idea better than, oh well, you lost, but there's shenanigans. So if you can beat Layla Hirsch, then you jump ahead of everybody else, even though you're supposed to be at the end of the line again. Like what they did last night didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense aside from setting up next week and like, okay, but that seemed really that was very WWE to me. It was very like we got to have a reason.
I'm under that context too. Like I thought I heard there was a title eliminator we were having.
Yeah. And that was the term that they used. It was a title eliminator. But all it was is when it was a number one contenders match. They just didn't want to call it that because that's what WWE calls it. It's a number one contenders match.
It could have been done better, but I feel like
I doubt
you could. I don't feel like you could have, even with shenanigans, Thunder Rosa lose 1 week and then just give her the title shot the next week. You'd have to do a DQ. You'd either have to do it the way they did it on short notice, really rushed, or have the title match on Dynamite with like blatant interference and blatant DQ to where like literally Thunder Rosa got, the shaft, like to where she didn't even lose, but she still got shafted, and then that's when they go like, okay, cage match. But
any way would have been better. This way was sloppy.
Yeah.
This way was really, really sloppy and rushed, and then they should have probably done better.
I can tell they wanted this for San Antonio more than Revolution.
Yeah, and I get why.
Yeah, me too.
Like, just freaking save it. If nothing else, just say I traded in my opportunity at a pay-per-view cash out for picking a stipulation in my hometown.
Yeah.
Still better fucking booking.
Next match is just because we got so much more stuff to go. Jon Moxley versus Bryan Danielson. This was a good match. I think a lot of people expected someone to kind of die. They didn't, but someone did bleed, and then William Regal came out, and now William Regal is in AEW, and we're going to talk more about that and talk about Dynamite. So, good match, but, I don't know. I guess I expected, wasn't bad, but I expected this to be kind of in that. There's 3 matches that I really, I loved on this pay-per-view, and I expect there to be 4, and I was surprised that it was the Bryan Danielson match that was the one that I didn't love, and just only really liked it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Same.
But now we go to a match that was better than it had any right to be, even though it got scary at times. AHFO versus Darby, Sammy, and Sting. Sting is going full fucking New Jack. Diving off balconies through tables.
Oh, the table drop. That was epic.
fucking worried about the guy always doing shit like that, but okay. But still, like, this is a better match. I thought this would be just like a nothing match, and, you know, credit to everybody involved, including Sting. They made it more than a nothing match, so, you know, kudos to the six men involved.
Jesus. Can somebody remind Sting how old he is and that he has spinal stenosis? Can somebody just
right now?
Can somebody just put some sticky notes on his like dressing room mirror or something? Like, hi, just like they did that in 51st Dates. Like, there's a videotape that she watches every morning. Can we just make a videotape for Sting? Like
70. Oh, sorry, wrong Sting.
60s. Yeah.
He's 62. That's the
62.
Right.
Yeah. With spinal stenosis.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying. Maybe we don't do like the whole dives onto tables and people like the 20-year-olds do, because that's probably not it's probably not smart. It's not smart for Sammy and Darby either.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy is not going to have a super long career if he's got to do this every freaking match.
Yeah.
He doesn't have to do this every match.
Yeah. Next match, main event time. Hangman Page versus Adam Cole. Great match. Adam Cole's best match in AEW, in my opinion. I can't say it's Hangman's best title defense because there's 2 Bryan Danielson matches, but still a damn fine match, and Hangman won. So, yeah, there's a lot of these matches are just like, you know, like this. I mean, this is a match that might come up at the end of the year. I'm not saying it isn't, but a lot of it, you know, again, is just kind of like, great match, right person won. You know, great match, right person won. More meat on the bone for down the road. Like, you know, this pay-per-view was like great in its simplicity. Like, it wasn't other than like Regal. You know, it wasn't like All Out where there's like, and here's a bunch of gimmick matches, and here's a battle royal, and here's like all this, you know, and here's all these debuts where it's just like, oh my god, and oh my god, oh my god. It was just kind of like, it was a solid fucking wrestling pay-per-view.
Yeah.
You know, which so many people feel like you need 7 debuts and, you know, a whole bunch of everything, you know. And you didn't in this one. You just kind of, I mean, you had some of everybody. You had a deeply personal feud. You had blood. You had high spots. You had, you know, great wrestling. You had your one debut. You know, it ticked every box a fan could want. And, you know, it didn't go like grandiose and overkill like you could argue like All Out did, but you don't. It's proof you don't always need to do that. So now it's time to light the fuse and bring the boom and talk Dynamite. Chris Jericho and Eddie Kingston had a good segment until the Inner Circle is officially no more. And who had Chris Jericho in 2.0 was on their scorecards back in 2012. I sure didn't.
Not the group that I thought 2.0 would go to, but okay.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it is got the worst fucking name ever. The Jericho Appreciation Society. Like, I get it. Like
the Jazz.
Yes.
It's the Jazz.
This seriously just could have been Inner Circle 2.0 for all I give a shit.
Yeah, like I don't. I get that maybe he was looking for like something bad, so he'd boo it. So like, I'm playing devil's advocate, but I'm beginning to say like about some of Jericho's ideas now. Like, if you think Cody was like way off in La La Land, Jericho can be too. Like, call a spade here.
Yeah.
I think personally, you're really, really bearing the lead on the big news coming out of this segment. Eddie Kingston has killed the what chant.
That is true.
Oh, yeah.
Motherfucking
Yes.
Kingston killed the what chant, you guys.
I noticed that. I'm like, that was epic.
Like
that
it
earned a yes
didn't.
chant.
No, nobody tried the what chant for the rest of the fucking night.
Well, first
And
of
I
all,
bet you it's
like
gonna
what
be a
kind of
long time.
jackasses are gonna want Eddie Kingston? If you were one of the people that here's my be a dick / hill to die on this week. If you're doing what at an Eddie Kingston promo, you are fucking stupid.
If you are doing what to anyone other than Stone Cold Steve Austin, you're kind of a dick.
Well, to be fair, they the
We
crowd
did have
apparently
one guy try to talk shit about Moxley, and he told him to go fuck himself. Which,
Yup.
by the way, Code, that's how you get, quote, GFY trending. You actually say the words.
yeah. And also, like, as far as a Watt being annoying, like, people have wanted national anthems before, so I think, like, you know, I heard about that back in 2002 when I was, just new to this here old IWC, and I remember just kind of thinking, like, okay, what's Jump the Shark? And I didn't even know what Jump the Shark meant, but, like, I knew that, like, okay, what is ruined? And it kept going, and, like, ever since then, like, I don't like what, and now Eddie Kingston. It took 20 years in Eddie Kingston, but the son of a bitch is dead.
The what chant is my soapbox and my personal hill that, like, as many great contributions that Stone Cold Steve Austin gave the wrestling business, and he brought it to new heights, and he's arguably one of the biggest stars to ever come from wrestling. He fucking created the what chance, and it tarnishes his legacy forever until it's dead. And I wanted it to die, and I've been just I seethe every fucking time it happens. And I'm not a wrestler, but Jesus, it drives me up the wall, and I can only imagine that it drives them even crazier. So God bless Eddie Kingston. He is the GOAT. He killed the what chant.
Now I would love to. Oh, God, wait. We're going to San Antonio next week on 3/16. Oh, Eddie Kingston's going to have way too much fun.
Or just ignore it. That could also be something Eddie Kingston does, too.
He will no-sell that shit. That's on another show, my guy.
Yeah. Moving on, because we got a lot more to cover. AEW Championship match, Hangman Page versus Dante Martin. I get that Dante's number 2, and they probably wanted to have this match, but I didn't really get why Dante got a shot, and I really didn't.
It was a fun match, even though I'm like, wait, a random world title match? Where's this, Raw?
It wasn't a bad match, but, like, I was kind of hoping for this to kind of be like 1-2-3 Kid versus Bret Hart when 1-2-3 Kid got this. The young upstart 1-2-3 Kid was going to wrestle the top good guy champion Bret Hart for the title. I was hoping for, like, a very if you're going to do this, make it a little bit more epic, kind of like how that match was.
It could have honestly been a great St. Patrick's Day Slam match.
I agree. It could have been. It would have been good for that. It could have been, or at least let them. This could have been a show stealer, but it ended up just being another match. I get it. Everything was cool. Dante's going back to the tag division. The promo at the end was fine. It set up more for Hangman next week with Adam Cole. I get it, but, like, when this match was happening, like, my mind immediately went to 1-2-3 Kid and Bret Hart. Where 1-2-3 Kid, like, takes Bret to the limit, and you think that 1-2-3 Kid's gonna beat Bret, and Bret still wins, but Kid looks great in defeat, and, like, that's kind of what I was hoping for, and it wasn't bad, and Dante didn't look bad, but it was a match that could have been on that level, but it wasn't. And I don't know if it's because they wanted. I'm going to
say this, though, that it looked like he actually could have dodged the buckshot lariat. He literally had, like, 2 seconds while he was jumping his feet, and then suddenly he gets, like, he got, like, oh my God, what am I saying? Clotheslines from hell, in a way.
Yeah, just kind of, like I said, not bad, but I guess I had a standard of what I expected from something like this, and It didn't live up to it. CJ, what do you think?
It would have been okay. Oh, last thing. It would have been great if like Hangman cut a promo and then Dante comes out, be like, you know what? If you're looking for something to do next week, how about we have a world title shot? And Hangman like, okay, you're on, kid. That's it.
Yeah,
obviously not in that context.
It just kind of showed up and appeared, and they didn't really discuss it. I didn't know where he was in the rankings. I guess
apparently there was
he was 2. I checked.
Yeah, he was 2. Apparently,
so he
something
wasn't
on the road. There was something on the road too about this. So, like, I guess we had to watch that, which is fine. I get that you gotta make those important, but like,
I watched the road too, and I didn't catch that.
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I mean,
so if it was in there, it was very, very short.
Yeah.
But he wasn't the number 1 contender. Or was he the number 1 contender after Revolution?
I don't know.
I don't know.
They gotta simplify things a little bit more. I guess it's stupid. Like, we gotta do more homework and be on AEW Twitter pages 24 hours a day to get AEW right.
I'm a dumb mark. You gotta explain shit to me, okay? I got
internet. Like, if we just followed the Twitter, we'd be a lot better off. And it's not AEW's job to give us information. No, we gotta, get our stack of AEW homework done. Right, internet? Sorry, I hate that kind of shit on Twitter.
Yeah. That's a no from me.
That's a no from me, dog.
It's gonna be a no. The match was fine, but the whole time I was like, why? Okay, why is this a thing? Why are we doing this? Oh, this is for the title. Why is it for the title?
Yeah.
It was a perfectly fine match, but I was distracted by asking myself all of the questions.
Yeah, it's like, why?
That it took away from
if you're gonna have a title match, hype that shit up. Give us a week's notice and fucking do it next week. Don't do
Dynamite.
Yeah, give us a week's notice and we can really hype it up. Don't do a fucking throwaway 6-man tag. I know that we're skipping ahead, but I know they're trying to tease some tension between the Dark Order and Hangman, but fucking don't do that shit. Give this a week. That's better than fucking Adam Cole and Red Dragon / Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express versus Hangman again. Like, no, this would give it a week's notice and we get that, AEW version of Kid versus Brett. That would have been better. John Moxley and Bryan Danielson versus the Workhorsemen. Good little match. Great promo from Regal. Nothing more really needs to be said about this other than check out the Regal promo. Really cool stuff. God, William Regal's great.
I didn't know that Tony Schiavone was the one that introduced him to, low key, like showed him around America and all that.
Yep, because Regal went to WCW where Tony worked.
Pac, he got a little emotional during the promo too. It's like, oh, William, big little crybaby.
Pac versus Wheeler Yuta. This kind of was what it was. Anybody else anything to add on that?
Denhausen didn't curse Pac. I'm sad.
Yeah. Adam Cole and Red Dragon with the Bucks kind of set up that 6-man for next week. FTR turned into the good side, it looks like, by firing Tully Blanchard when he was trying to insinuate that they need to go for the titles and not take care of their family business. So it leads me to think, A, Tully's done with AEW, or B, Tully's going to be bringing in somebody like maybe the Briscoes to go after FTR. But for all intents and purposes,
take my money.
All intents and purposes, seemed like FTR was turning to the good side of things. Emergency board meeting of the AHFO.
Who didn't know what was happening here?
Yeah,
please raise your hand if you were surprised.
Yeah,
I'm half raising my hand because I like to be surprised.
Well, I mean, it was.
For all I know, Private Party and Matt Hardy actually would have been a great trio team.
It wasn't a bad segment. Like, we all kind of knew what was going to happen, but, It still wasn't a bad segment. I did
I,
pop pretty
I
big
did
for
like
the.
they channeled their inner Batistas, like the thumbs up and then thumbs down.
Yeah, but I saw everything like that coming from a mile away. I even saw the debut coming from a mile away, but I still, marked out for the music.
I was shocked.
That-
My first reaction is like, "Holy shit! How did we get the music?"
Yeah, the music
Now,
was what shocked me. The debut was just kind of like, oh, I've kind of known that Jeff was coming back for, like, it's been spoiled. That's been spoiled.
yeah.
Word
About
kept secret.
So I'm gonna flash back to I forget what episode it was when Jeff had his incident. We were all speculating what's he doing, and I openly said I do not want Jeff Hardy on AEW. So I'm still kind of standing by my words, but I will take some credit crap, whatever. That's kind of eating my words a little bit. That Jeff Hardy's here. I freaked out for it. It's like, well, yeah, I didn't even think Jeff Hardy was actually going to sign with AEW, obviously, but that's surprised there.
Mhm.
For me, it's like my reasoning was I don't really think he has much to prove anymore. Like, sure, one last little hurrah with Matt Hardy would be epic. I just didn't think it was going to be AEW because I just was not sure if AEW would actually take in Jeff Hardy, knowing the conditions and the crap that he has gone through
right.
physically, emotionally, and mentally. I just was not sure.
I think
You
they're
know,
they're, they're going to give the Hardy Boys their last run in a company that actually has a use for tag teams.
and I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if those guys would actually go for the tag team titles. They actually win it. Like that'd be insane. Like they would actually be like the most decorated tag team in the entire world, right behind or right in front of the Dudleys, actually,
I'd say
or the
probably
Young Bucks. I don't know, depending on
neck
which
and neck
title reign
with.
you're looking at.
They'd be neck and neck with the Dudleys. I
So,
mean,
well, now I'm
depends
just
on what how
thinking,
you.
okay. Well, now I'm just thinking this: a great four-way tag team, like tornado contest, whatever you want to go with. Young Bucks, Red Dragon, FTR, the Hardys.
I'd watch that. Um,
Book it, Tony. I know you're listening to
but
us.
rather than, but I'd watch it, but I don't like those kind of 4-way fucking scramble matches.
Wouldn't even have to be for a title match, honestly.
I don't like those 4-way matches with tag teams because it degenerates into, who's legal, who's not legal. Oh,
Fuck that. That's why I like tornado tags. Every man for
there's no
himself.
psychology to it. It's just like, here's flip, 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 flip. Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't like that. I like
Anyways.
kind of more of a structured match. I like
Right.
that. I like shit to build, not just more bang for your buck. Top rope
Yeah.
fuckinator, Meltzer driver,
Yeah.
Meltzer driver through fucking needles.
Now I am actually kind of low key hoping I want to see Jeff Hardy and Darby Allin in a fight, please.
Yeah, that would be. And then also
Yeah.
Sting was. I'll take the one thing I thought was interesting. Sting was in the ring with Jeff Hardy, and we all know about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
I mean, but I did like Darby's reaction. Like his face was literally jaw dropped. Like, am I in the same ring as Jeff fucking Hardy?
Yeah.
Or as Jim Ross kept calling him Jeffrey Nero Hardy. It's like, you can call him Jeff Hardy, right? WWE does not own a copyright to a name
That's
in
his
a
whole name.
sense,
That's
but
his whole
still.
name. Like, there's a
That-
lot about JR I can complain about. That was not one of them. Like all of JR on Revolution, I can bitch about that. But this is not.
But-
This is not one of them.
I will say the reaction, it seemed like it was louder than the WrestleMania return. Like, holy crap.
Yep. Got a lot in store. Wardlow did an interview, good interview. Wardlow's they're strapping the rocket ship to Wardlow. And I believe it after this interview. Then finally, AEW Tag Team Championship match. Jurassic Express versus the Acclaimed. It was good. Nothing. I don't understand why this match happened so soon with no build. I really don't. You couldn't have. There's not another pay per view until May. You couldn't have done a 3, 4, 5 week build out of this and set it up. Really?
Why did we have to come out like less than a week after the pay-per-view and do so many title matches?
Mm-hmm.
I don't get.
Like, I don't have a problem with the Acclaim getting a title shot, but fucking, this is something where the story. No, they did not need to win, because
I believe so, because you know what? Guess who are now the only accountability buddies on AEW? It's the Acclaimed.
They're not accountability buddies.
They're not.
They don't hold anybody accountable. They say bad things that get censored.
Well, I'm very happy that I don't need to hear a goddamn thing about accountability buddies on the show anymore.
Yeah. Oh, that's what you think.
Nope.
That's what you think.
Nope. Sean Spears doesn't need to hold Wardlow's little hands. Yep. Wardlow can just beat the living shit out of Sean Spears.
And yet, when Wardlow came out last night, what did he do? He looked behind him longingly for his accountability buddy.
Nope. Nope. Yep. The fan fiction has died. But it will never be resurrected.
Okay, but after this, like, this was to me a big fail on AEW's part. Like, this is something that people will want to see. Build this shit up. Don't just fucking come out doing these, we're going to have matches for no reason. Like, no. You guys are better than this. And with, you know, your men's and your tag title, you've done this. I'm not okay with the match was fine, but fucking give it some time. Give it some time. And don't tell me having Jurassic Express in a 6-man tag against Adam Cole and whichever his 2 tag team friends he picks is a bigger deal than setting up this, because it's not. It's really fucking not.
And you did this with every single men's title you have in one night. And you did so much that if one person maybe DVR'd the shit, they missed most of your TNT title match in your main event. Somebody missed the crowning moment. I'm pointing at me because I was dealing with some other issues and I was behind. And then I had to go straight to DVR.
We talked about this a little earlier. Layla Hirsch, Thunder Rosa. We already kind of discussed all that, so it is what it is. It was a good match, though. Finally, TNT Championship match, title versus streak. Sammy Guevara versus Scorpio Sky. I forgot about this match. I really like this match. Happy for Scorpio Sky. First person to have held the TNT and the Tag Team Championships. Very interesting what's happening with Scorpio 1 in this. It really makes me wonder, so is he a 1-week transitional champion between Sammy to Wardlow, or is there big things in store for Scorpio Sky? And then Tyconte came out, and Paige Van Zant signed her contract on Ty's butt. And I'm
happy for Scorpio TNT champ.
Yeah,
I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm happy for that. I kind of would have liked to have seen Sammy carried a little longer because he was doing such a great job. But it is the TNT title. You can. It's true. The TNT title lends itself more to shorter reigns than the world title, and it's proof you can have shorter runs with it, but still keep credibility up. And I don't know what everybody else think of this call. Easy says cool. CJ, what'd you think of all?
I mean, it's fine. I'm not upset that he lost, and I'm not upset that Scorpio Sky won. I'm a fan of Scorpio Sky. I like him. I didn't get to see most of it, so I'm not sure how I feel about the whole match. I'm salty about it, and I'm not gonna not be salty about it. Sorry, not sorry. I think he's going to be a transitional champion, whether it's just a couple weeks or maybe he gets a month out of it. It's going to be really short, and that's fine. I have come to terms with the fact that they're really just not going to use him to his full capability. I don't know why. The dude has charisma and he's a good wrestler. Ethan Page is the same way. I don't know why we're underutilizing these people and we keep signing and signing and signing. I can get on here.
I'm still looking for Jay Lethal.
Yeah. Well, look on Dark. Look on Dark, because that's where Jay Lethal is. But we don't need to open up ROH. They don't need more TV. Whatever. I can get on here every week and point out a new situation of why this is a bad call. I didn't graduate from U of I. I don't have a finance degree. I have an accounting degree. I don't own a wrestling company, and my dad didn't give me a bunch of money to start it. So it's not my call, but I don't think it's a good call.
Mm-hmm.
I have an associate's in public relations.
I dropped out of college. Anyway.
I was just saying that because Tony Khan has a finance degree. It's not an accounting degree, but a lot of people think they're the same. So that was my little like before everybody comes at me or nobody comes at me. Finance and accounting degrees are different. I'm not saying like I don't have a finance degree. Like, oh, I thought you were the numbers person. I have accounting degree and it's different and it's better.
So if you're signed to AEW, you'll be known as CJ the Accountant.
I will be IRS 2.0. That's what I will be the auditor.
Auditor.
Okay.
I found
so So you'll come out to Right to Censor music.
No.
Or just come out to everybody and say, you are behind on your taxes, or I am foreclosing your house. Your payment was missed by 5 minutes.
I have an unfavorable report to your board.
That was the Repo Man. He already did that.
Yeah.
Yeah, still, it wasn't a bad episode, Dynamite. I mean, it was number 1 on cable, so they did something right. I'm not saying, but I just... All of these matches...
People are saying the ratings were down 12% or whatever. It's like, if it's number 1 on the rating, or if it was number 1 on somewhere, it was number 1.
Well, yeah. That's all well and good. I'm just saying that, you know... I mean, you can't criticize it too much, but I will also say this. There were 2 matches that, given 2-3 weeks of build, you could have been great. Like, they were good. Could have been great. Could have had some heat behind them. Could have, like, really been something. You know, could have been something we talk about at the end of the era, then going, that's neat. It's cool. Glad they had that. But instead, you know, it's just kind of like, it's... Yeah, cool, Dante got a shot. Yeah. You know. I'm still, like I said, the match I thought it could be like, I'm talking about it over 20 years later. It could have been that. But instead, it was just a match. A good match, but a match on TV. And I'm only upset because I know AEW is better than this.
Yeah.
That is it for us this week. I want to thank you all for tuning in. Congratulations to Michael, Marcel, and Caleb for their winnings. We will get these out to you later on this week. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, share, subscribe for more content, not just from the world of pro wrestling, but from the world of gaming, comic books, anime, and all things geek culture. Check out my other videos. Check out the collection comic of the week with Marvel Knights Spider-Man #1, and check out the Geeking Out podcast this week where CJ and I finish up watching SummerSlam 1991. Spoiler alert, it doesn't have Bret Hart and Mr. Perfect on it, so it is not as good as part 1.
Unless you really enjoy me being angry, in which case you're going to have a lot of fun.
And if you also like very, very lewd implied things happening to the Mountie, then it's also a good thing there too.
No comment.
Yeah. But yeah, follow me on all my social media pages: Facebook.com/AthleticGeekA9, Twitter @Athletic_GeekA9, Instagram @AthleticGeekA9. CJ, do you have social media still, or did you give
Twitter.
that up?
No, it's still there. It's chilling.
Uh-huh.
At CJ Tmall0.
And Easy?
You can follow me at the Twitter at Eric Zarins. That is ERIKZARINS. And everybody here knows how extremely adventurous I am. And here is what's going to happen. And I know we're going to wrap up, so I'm going to make this quick. March 30th, if you're in the Buffalo area, come on down to some hockey. My Winnipeg Jets will be kicking Buffalo's ass. April 22nd. Absolute Insane Wrestling is having a show at the Odeon Concert Club presenting Eyes of the Beast featuring none other than Mr. Kaze Ninare himself, Minoru Suzuki. Apparently I butchered it last week. And May 29th, the greatest spectacle in racing, I'll be at the Indianapolis 500 with my old man. And that's going to be a lot of fun. And then finally, wrestling related again, June 29th. I've been waiting for this day all day. AEW is going to Motor City in Detroit, and I got my ticket because pre-sales are amazing. So if you're not on AEW fleets, if you really want to get like tickets right now, sign up on their newsletters. Come on, like you will literally get pre-sale codes, please. Not just saying this because I don't work for AEW. I'm just saying this as a fan. You want to go to the shows, get those pre-sale codes, and that's it.
And one programming alert for next week. We will not be live on Thursday because it is our Missing Mark's bachelor party, and I will be at that. So we will be going live after Dynamite on Wednesday. So keep that in mind. So,
I'm available. Yep.
For EZ and CJ, I'm the Athletic Geek. We are just Marks, and we're out. Have a good one.
I'm missing Mark's bachelor party?